Volkswagen. I'm going to see if I'm live, and then I'm going to talk to you. Alright, so if I'm live, I'm going to talk to you, and hopefully things will be good. Okay, so I'm live. So, Volkswagen, I hear you have been basically cheating on these scandals. Well, I have answers for what you might want to do instead of cheating, and that is not doing diesel, but end up doing electric cars for the Volkswagen part, and instead do a simple layout of the engine. Like, don't cheat on the engine scandal. I mean, have someone else do the engine for you instead do everything electric. But let's say someone does this car, and this car sells because it's, let's say, fast and simple and does not fall apart easily. Let's just say that we should not make sure that this type of car does not fall apart easily, because let's say this engine is like simply wired, simply built, and has electronics only for the gas. Everything else is touch and go, and the only other electronic part is safety features and the screens inside and all that. It's a simple car, but it's nicely designed, and it's a very simple engine and aluminum block on. The actual engine itself is made of iron, not iron. What do you make it? Like some sort of I would say stainless steel, and on top of it's like more of solid metal. You know what to do. Make sure this engine does not fall apart. Make sure that it does not breaks or corrodes or anything like that. You know what to do. And these wires are there, and the pipes and whatever you can put there. This is main wire for the battery, and the battery goes to the alternator, and the alternator goes to here and goes to here and to the driver's side. Then this goes to other parts on this side, and goes to the bottom chamber of the engine, and goes on this part. It's like a setup, but meant for all of the engine parts are in the center, and all of the compartments elsewhere, and otherwise it's meant for the side. Yet the side is hidden, and the engine is the only one that's showing. And simple layout. Now, if you want, you can design the car like that, and with spoiler. Yeah, you can have. Okay, I don't have a spoiler set up very well. Oops, the paper is falling everywhere. So yeah, the spoiler's right here. You can see it possibly. And that spoiler, is, let's say, it's half a spoiler. Like, there are two parts of the spoiler on the edges, and then the center part raises up. And the two parts of the spoiler on the edges are lights. And they're colored red on one part, and basically clear, but they turn red. That's probably the most complex thing about the car. And let's turn a page. Let's look at this feature. Oh, good. So it doesn't turn back a page. And we have here is the interior, European style, of course, but, So we have Mercedes-Benz style speakers, and forgive me for that. And this part swivels. This part raises up a little, so it swivels when it raises up. The steering wheel moves, so it moves a little bit. It's just another complex part, and there's a screen in the center, an automatic transmission because of the engine. And the storage compartment is, it's basically a very simple interior, especially for 2028. I don't want to make this too complex. Whoops. Let me show you other things. I don't want to make things too complex for you. Oops. Basically, I want to have things very organized in the engine. Toyota is also very very secure because they build things out of good quality stuff. And for this car, I want the engine to be done within years for the first part, and then have the engine be professionally made and not flimsily made like Fiat or anything like that. I want the engine to be made in a professional manner that is going to last for 20 or more years, and for 300,000 miles or more, depending on how they use it. Maybe less if they abuse it. But I want this engine to at least last 200,000 miles or a lot more. And I know this is not a good sales pitch, but people are going to complain that the car engines are not lasting a long time. And I want this car to be like the people that are using it for speed. I want you to see if people abuse the red line, and I want you to make more engines than not, so that at least the engine can be blown out. And as you can see, the wires are in a heat-proof casing, and I want the wires to be not duct taped, but I want the wires to actually be factory shut, like completely shut. And if it's basically in the engine, I want the wires to actually, I want the wires to be, let's say, put in the engine, and not literally in the engine, but in the underneath the engine, so it doesn't actually cause problems. And in the alternator, I want the alternator to just start as perfectly as possible. I want it to be directly in the center of the engine, right next to the engine. Hopefully that works. And the engine starts by the alternator, and it's not clear, but it's underneath the engine, and the alternator is as close to the engine as possible. So it just is a clear start, and it sparks a lot. It sparks a lot of a start. It would spark the engine up, and the spark plugs would start, and the engine would be starting up pretty fast, pretty hard, and that's what I want for this car. Okay, I think I've said enough for this car. Seeing everything that would be too bad, but yeah. But I hope that that pretty much does it for. I hope it does it very much for the engine. But yeah, if you like the design, I hope you can make it, because it would be pretty cool if you actually were able to do that. I don't know. Volkswagen is pretty much a prime car for. All I can say is, Volkswagen would be prime car, and I would call that car basically, oh dear, I would basically call that car, Zippy, Firestorm. Yeah, if it's Zippy Firestorm. Actually, if it's not Firestorm, then it's going to be something else with fire. I would call it the first name I would choose is Zippy Firestorm. If it's not available, they'll figure out like Firewave, maybe Firewave. I don't know. Yeah, sound a little too I don't know, like too old fashioned. Firewave. Anyway, you decide, and you be the boss. Okay? Like I said, it's called the Firewave. Okay. So Volkswagen, you be the boss. Okay. Seems to be having connection problems. So, like I said, it's called the Firewave, and you be the boss, okay, Volkswagen? All right. I'll be all set, okay? Bye.